Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I want to chat a little bit about the upcoming Logic App Aviators Community Day. So this is a live event online taking place on Thursday, June 22nd, so this upcoming Thursday, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific time. So what is Logic Apps Aviators Community Day? Let's take a look. What we have is a mix of Microsoft and community speakers, more community speakers than Microsoft, and that's very deliberate. And what we want to do is, number one, give the community an opportunity to get together and learn from each other. And so as a result, we had a call for speakers. We had quite a few submissions. I think it was close to 40. And so it was difficult to go through all of those submissions and come up with a list of essentially 10 speakers here. We tried to really come up with a diverse schedule that includes, a diverse set of speakers from a diverse set of regions throughout the world. We also wanted a diversity in terms of the topic level and the topics in general. And I feel we've come up with a pretty strong program. I've had the opportunity to watch all of the sessions that are going to be recorded, and I'm pretty pumped with the show that we're about to put on. Now, in terms of the content itself, we have put together like a lot of diverse sessions. So we've got introductory sessions. I'd say we've got some intermediate. We've got some advanced sessions if you're sort of well on your way from a Logic Apps journey perspective. We do have a product announcement that's going to take place first. So you can see if you look at the schedule, it's related to custom code. So a little bit of a spoiler, but really looking forward to being part of that session with one of our engineers, Swetcha, who was instrumental in building this feature. So looking forward to that. We talked a little bit about deployment. That's a topic that comes up regularly. How do I deploy my Logic App solution? So we're going to hear from Alessandro on that. We've also got automated testing with Michael Stevenson. That is another highly requested topic. How can I go ahead and do this? We've got patterns. So we've got some cloud integration redundancy patterns. We also have, I would say, scalability and throttling patterns, which will be quite interesting. And then just use cases, right? So we talk about manufacturing sector. We talk about the ERPs, Dynamics 365, F&O. We also hear about ChatGPT. So there's a lot to see here, and looking forward to seeing the response. Now, this is going to be streamed on YouTube and Twitch. So we've got the same plumbing, the same infrastructure that we use for our monthly community call. So shout out to the DevDiv community team, and then also the DevDiv Studios team as well. We've had some tremendous support in putting this together. The production has been fantastic, and so thank you to those teams for helping us out. The quality, without a doubt, has been increased as a result of their involvement. This will be available on demand after the event. We do realize that this is a global community, and that for some people they might be sleeping during some of this, and that's fine, right? So this will be available after the fact, on demand, so not to worry if you miss anything, but this is going to be available after. While the sessions are going on, so many of these sessions are pre-recorded. This was done deliberately. Number one, dealing with time zones can be challenging. Also, just making sure that we've got a very tight schedule. We want to make sure that everything's on time, so if you're logging in at a specific time, you can expect to see that session at that time. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have the speakers, if their session is recorded, being available during the session to answer any of your questions live. So they don't have to be focused on delivering the session. They can focus on addressing your questions. So if you're watching this, make sure you're asking your questions in the YouTube or Twitch, and we'll have people that are available to respond to them. This is another thing, it's free, right? Maybe I should have put this first, but there's no charges for this. This is all our volunteers that are putting this together, and Microsoft's handling the logistics. There's no charge for this. There's no sign up for this. There's no paywall. There's no login wall, nothing. This is all available via YouTube generally, or if Twitch is your thing, go for it. And then what I would ask, I do have an ask for folks, is that, if this is something that you do enjoy, if this is something you see a lot of value in, help us to amplify this. So tweet about it, put it on LinkedIn, talk about your experiences. These types of impressions will only help us be able to reinforce the value to our leadership, which will allow us to do additional events in the future. So what I'm going to do, the link that you need to be aware of is this one right here, https://Logic Apps Aviators Day. This is kind of the key to where you will find everything. So go ahead and bookmark this page. But let's navigate to this page and see what's on it. All right, so when you go ahead and you enter that link, you're gonna end up on this page here, right? So Logic Apps Community Day. We do have the YouTube link right here. This is what you want to be looking for, right? So, you can go ahead and you can click on this and it will take you over to the live stream. Go ahead and subscribe to this particular channel. This is on the Azure Developers YouTube channel. So that is kind of the key. This is where we go ahead and host our monthly meetups as well. So this is something you just want to be able to subscribe to for future, events. So just good to know. But that's kind of the key place that you want to be. Here's the schedule that we talked about before. We've got, some familiar faces, MVPs, Microsoft have MVPs, and then we have some people that are sort of newer on their journey, their public speaker journey. And that was also something we wanted to do, is we wanted to create a place for people that are interested in getting more involved in the community and give them a platform as well. So we feel we've got a pretty good mix that's part of this as well. One thing I didn't call out that is worth calling out as well is we will have this roundtable discussion at the end. So during the event itself, we will have sort of an open forum for you to ask questions. And then what we will do is we'll take the last half hour. This is a combination of the product group members plus a community group member. I think we've got Sandro who's going to join us, and we're going to take your questions that you've had throughout the day and do our best to go ahead and answer them. Shout out to our speakers. These are all our volunteers. These are people giving their time, sharing their knowledge with the community. So big shout outs to all of them who are instrumental in making this happen. So thank you all, very much appreciated. Now, one thing I just wanted to take, just a couple minutes just to talk about community and why I feel this is important. I think community has been a huge part of my career and my progression within my career. Earlier on, prior to joining Microsoft, I had the opportunity to join the Microsoft MVP community, and it has been the single most impactful opportunity in my career. Number one, I met a ton of great people from all over the world, really experts. In this case, it's predominantly biz talk, right? So I had the opportunity to learn from some of the brightest minds in integration, and that's part of the reason why I'm so passionate about this Logic Apps community and helping sort of move that forward as well. Tremendous learning opportunities, right? Whether it was like going to the MVP Summit or just like learning from other people, their blogs, their presentations, their offline, sort of conversations with people, or hey, check this out, what do you think? And that just helped me accelerate my career growth. It also led to opportunities, not gonna lie. I think jobs. I think it would have been probably much harder for me to get into Microsoft had I not had a lot of that previous exposure through the Microsoft MVP program. I've had the opportunity to speak in countless number of countries, in Europe, all over the place, the US, Canada, and definitely being a part of this community, created exposure for me, and then opportunities just to get involved. I do feel, predominantly prior to Microsoft, my salary, I think definitely had an impact as sort of my employers saw sort of the sort of marketability that I had and sort of these opportunities that I had internationally. I felt like that only positively contributed to a higher salary. So, MVP program has been instrumental. Now, not to say that you can't have many opportunities, you have to be in the MVP programs. I'm not saying that at all. And I think the next example just sort of highlights that. So FlowFam, this is another community that I've been involved in. I still try to stay in touch and hang out with these folks. This is predominantly Power Platform. This was set up initially by John Levesque, so shout out to John. And this is another just amazing community. Like, once again, met people from all over the world. These are basically experts in Power Platform. So when I was working in the Power Platform area at Microsoft, interacting with these people has been just fantastic, and I continue to stay in touch. Recently, I put together a Power Apps demo, and I don't claim to be a Power Apps expert, but sure enough, I was able to plug into our FlowFam chat, and one of the Power Apps experts was able to help me out. So thanks again for that, Keith. But these communities are just invaluable. It's pretty awesome when you've got sort of an issue and you've sort of built this community and this network around you that sort of spans all time zones. It's only going to help you to go ahead and sort of solve some problems that you might have been more difficult to solve. So these communities exist, whether it's the Power Platform, they've got some strong communities. They've got forums where you can go ahead and, ask questions and have community members respond. User groups are another great example. I know down south, southeast, you've got the integration community down under, led by Bill Chestnut and some other folks out there. So, they're doing a great job over in APAC. There could be Azure user groups in your local region as well. Like, those are great places. Online forums, doesn't have to be in person, especially with digital. Could be school communities as well if you're still a student going through that. But I think the biggest point here is just join the community and start to contribute. And I think the biggest benefit is you will learn, and you will learn from like-minded people who are on a similar journey. And I think that's probably just really powerful, is like people that might be newer in their career, and you're learning together, and you have a peer that you can bounce questions off, and maybe you don't feel sort of as intimidated to ask some of these questions, but take advantage of it. Just in general, I think sharing is caring. I think for me, I've always been happy to share my knowledge. I've never felt the need to sort of make it proprietary. I've always felt that one of my strengths was my ability to learn new things. So, if I was going to be more sort of competitive in the marketplace, it was kind of like I'm going to keep learning new things. And so as a result, I'm happy to share as well and give other people opportunities, especially later on in my career here. And then last, I don't think it hurts to have some public validation. I think, if anything, the last sort of 6 months with the whole tech sector has sort of just emphasized this need for public validation. People always ask, how do I set myself apart? I feel like community is one of those things. I think it takes a special type of person to share their knowledge, to spend their time, to donate their time in many regards, to do these things, to help others. I just feel these are all good traits that a person brings to a new organization. And being able to see that and have that public validation, I think is great. I look back to one interview where there was someone that was sort of questioning my technical chops, and I felt pretty comfortable with my technical abilities, and I said, hey, go ahead, check out my blog, check out my YouTube channel. I got nothing to hide. It's all there. And if that's not good enough, then cool, no worries. I guess I wasn't the right fit. But otherwise, check it out if you don't feel I have the technical chops. And I did get that job, so I think it worked out for me. So do take this opportunity to reflect on some of your goals and just see if those goals can be met through the community. And I feel like a lot of good things can come from the community. So I hope this inspires you to get active in a community, whether that's Logic Apps Aviators, which we'd love to see, or if you're more into Power Platform, whether it's Power Addicts is another sort of a community or sub-community, or FlowFam. There's lots of great places for you to go ahead and meet people. So once again, that's it. I'm going to stop talking, but have a great week. Hope to see you on Logic Apps Aviator. That's Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific to 3 p.m. Pacific. Have a great week all. Thank you. Take care.